Coming to you from Forager Brewery in Rochester, our town.
AJ Montpetit is here to talk coffee, lots of coffee. 1 million cups to be exact. Is this some kind of sleep deprivation drinking game?
Absolutely. For any entrepreneur, you know that sleep is probably the first thing to go out the window in your life. So it's a great way to get refreshed with other entrepreneurs and to learn from others, to experience what's going on around in town and to kind of build each other up as a network of community.
So 1 million cups, can you tell us a little bit about the format of that and what it seeks to provide for entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so 1 Million Cups started from the Kauffman Foundation, and its goal is to empower entrepreneurs in cities and communities to network with one another, to kind of iron sharpens iron kind of attitude, to pitch to one another, to say, you know, where are some holes that I'm missing? If I went to an investor today, what do I need to tell them that I'm not saying in my pitch? So it's a great way to have some time to network beforehand. Every time we do a 1 Million Cup event, we have 2 entrepreneurs or businesses present their pitch and their story. And then what happens is there's a 20-minute Q&A afterwards, and then some advice from the crowd and fellow entrepreneurs as to what was good, what was bad. Was your font really terrible? Please don't use papyrus ever again. Those kind of things.
That's really great. That sounds so helpful. And I know there's other sort of models like accelerators and incubators. So how does this program of 1 Million Cups fit into kind of that whole framework of support for entrepreneurs?
Yeah, what you don't see when you get an idea to when you see a business that's out and successful, all of the stages in between. So 1 Million Cups fits that really good example in that stage of, I need to practice my pitches. And you can only do it so much to your cats or your kids who are, 3 years old running around, but you need to see your peers and to really bounce those ideas off of them and to help engage with people. And the beauty is not everybody's in the same industry, not everybody's trying to do the same thing you are. So you're going to get a lot of great ideas or viewpoints that you probably haven't thought of before to really refine what you're doing and what you're trying to propose to investors or people you want to be in your business.
Recently, Minnesota was voted one of the best places for tech entrepreneurs, which is really exciting. How do you think Rochester is sort of doing with its entrepreneur spirit and its culture?
I think it's in its budding phases right now, especially with seeing Collider open up as a co-working facility downtown and seeing places like above Grand Rounds that has great startups like Mike Rowley and Go Route. And the big factor is we have to realize how much talent is in this town. A third of the town is employed by Mayo Clinic, and we have world-renowned, brilliant people. And the fact that Mayo Clinic is starting to loosen the reins as to let people get those entrepreneurial ideas out and to do things is great. So what we want to do is encourage people to know that there is a support network and there's a group of people that are either in the trenches or have been through the trenches or on the other side that can help you get that crazy idea that just keeps nagging at the back of your brain, and how you could actually make that a reality so you can basically live without having the what if moments.
Right. And you're actually one of the staples of the entrepreneur community. And what do you do as an experienced designer at Area 10 Labs?
Yeah, so an experienced designer is kind of a new title that's been coming around, but it's basically taking a lot of the things that traditional marketing has done and moving it into more of a digital market idea and framework. And it's everything from what's the user interface and user experience on my mobile app to what's it like in a store to how are we messaging things, how are we building things, what colors are we using, just the whole gamut of, is this getting our message across clearly, succinctly, and is the experience of the customer the one we want them to have, and making it perfect.
I know one of the questions that's often asked in the 1 Million Cup sort of forums is, what can the community do? I'm going to pose that question to you. What can the community do for entrepreneurs to support entrepreneurship here?
The best thing to do is just show up and participate. Like Woody Allen said, 90% of success is showing up. So if people just show up and just drink some great coffee that's going to be provided by local coffee entrepreneurs and potentially amazing Dalby donuts. I don't know who the donut provider will be, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed. But just showing up and showing that support and being able to participate, to, like I said again, bounce those ideas off each other is so invaluable to an entrepreneur who's been sitting for hours and hours, with every minuscule detail of their business and maybe not getting that, experience of multidisciplinary and multi-industry aspects out there to have them see it for what it is.
Great. Well, thank you so much, AJ, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Our Town is brought to you in part by the following amazing people and organizations.
The new Clements Subaru proudly partners with award-winning KSMQ Public Television. Clements Subaru of Rochester. Clements' clear value promise is to make buying a Subaru fast, fair, and simple. Prow Company, a hands-on commercial property leasing company. Leasing commercial properties in Rochester, Minnesota since 1952. Realtors and brokers welcome. Prow Company. The Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, and the citizens of Minnesota.
And the members of KSMQ Public Television. Thank you.
I take my coffee black just in case you wanted to know. Awesome things happening in the entrepreneurial community here in Rochester. You'll want to stay awake and stay with us as we celebrate Winona State University's 100th anniversary in Rochester. Find out what plans they have for the next century. We give you a look behind the curtain as Eric and I get ready for Our Town at the Glam Beauty Lounge, and we explore early pioneer days in Rochester. But first, a visit to the oldest church in Rochester on Our Town Culture.
Hi, I'm Penny Duffy. I'm a member of Calvary Episcopal Church in Rochester, Minnesota, and I'm currently the junior warden for the parish. The Calvary Episcopal Church is a faith community here in the center of Rochester and the heart of the Mayo Clinic campus. In fact, the campus grew up around the church as it was founded in 1860. We are a vibrant, alive parish here to serve many Mayo Clinic visitors as well as our own congregation. The Episcopal Church is a Protestant denomination. It was originally part of the Church of England called the Anglican Church. We separated from the Anglican Church during the Revolutionary War. The Episcopal Church really thinks of itself as a middle way. We call that via media. So it finds itself home to people from other faith traditions. Catholics and Lutherans, Methodists, Presbyterians seem to find a nice home here, a balance between scripture and liturgy and tradition and forward thinking, and it casts a big net. We're open to many ideas whilst at the same time resting on certain principles of faith. Calvary Episcopal Church is very much tied to the history of Rochester. In fact, the founder of Rochester also founded Calvary a few years after he got here. It's also very much tied in with the history of Mayo Clinic. Calvary is the oldest church building in Rochester. The Mayo family, when they moved here in 1864, joined Calvary Episcopal Church. Many of our windows were donated by the Mayo family. The one behind me, Christ and the Children, which is a Tiffany window, was given by Edith Graham Mayo and her brother in honor of their parents. I'm glad you asked me about the healing window because although we have many historic windows, this is a relatively new window that was completed in the 2000s and paid for by everybody in the congregation. The healing window really represents for us our sense of being a peaceful healing sanctuary for those who come to Rochester for health care. Every panel in the window depicts a story in the Bible of Jesus' healing. And I'm delighted to announce that as of yesterday, we announced to the parish that we indeed, the parish celebrated with us the selection of that new rector. We're thrilled to welcome Reverend Beth Royalty, who will be coming here in the next 2 months, and she is a remarkable leader. I think what makes her unique is that while being a very strong leader, she is also a very humble and compassionate person, and that is exactly what you want in a rector, and that is exactly what we have found in Reverend Beth Royalty. So we are thrilled to welcome her here to Calvary in March. And so we welcome you, wherever you are on your faith journey, to join with us here at Calvary Episcopal Church.
For more information about this story and other Our Town features, connect with us on Facebook, Twitter at KSMQ #OurTown, or ksmq.org/OurTown.
Running free in the world, we got all we can do. Tear it up, tear it down, getting lost in the sound of our hearts beating.
Last fall, the discussion surrounding the old Armory, former home of the Rochester Senior Center, swirled as a number of organizations vied to occupy the building. The Rochester City Council delayed action pending more research. Find out if there's been any progress on Monday, January 30th at 6:30 p.m. at the Rochester Public Library, as the Post Bulletin facilitates this important dialogue. The Mayo Clinic has announced a possible solution to weight loss that a Phoenix-based researcher discovered, almost by accident. It turns out that 2 common cancer-fighting drugs cause significant weight loss in obese mice. The researchers are refocusing on these results, which may provide a new tool for morbidly obese humans. If your love of Legos is still going strong into your adult years, there's a new club for you. The Adult Lego Club has begun meeting at the Rochester Public Library. Join them on the 3rd Thursday of every month at 2 p.m. And this time, you have to be 13 or older to play. I mean, build. And I know it seems like summer is a long way off, but if you're a local band that would like to perform at Thursdays on 1st and 3rd, or as an opening act for Down by the Riverside, now is the time to say so. Applications are being accepted by Steve Schmidt and his department at Riverside Concerts. You can find out more information about the requirements for each event series at rochestermn.gov. Applications are due May 1st. Remember that walkabout story a couple of weeks ago about area snowplow trucks? This week, MNDOT announced that the public can now view real-time road conditions from plow cams in action. Go to 511mn.org to see exactly what's happening out there. Up next, get a behind-the-scenes look at what Eric and I go through to get ready for our town. I'm good, how are you?
Awesome. Alrighty.
And what's your favorite part about the job?
It's just really fun. I mean, who doesn't like playing with makeup, making people feel beautiful?
What do you think are some of the latest trends in makeup?
So it's really always changing. A lot of metallics and lips and different things had been coming, and then
This airbrush stuff that you've been putting on my face.
yes, yeah. So this is airbrush in a can. So airbrush, is so lightweight and flawless, and so they have it in a can so that you can bring it home so that everybody can have flawless makeup all the time.
So you have these strange little crystal things. What are those? What are those?
Yes, so they are our Katie crowns. They're awesome. They're so fun. They can definitely jazz up any outfit.
So, I mean, often we think about makeup as something that, it's just like women and it's wonderful. Do you get any men that come in for anything?
Yeah, yep.
All right.
How are you today? So we also do men in different, we can kind of, for anybody that needs it. So the difference between TV and photography makeup is you're not going to want to use an SPF because SPF will have a flashback. So if you see people that are really whitewashed in pictures, that's because there's an SPF in it. So you want to make sure that you're not using SPF when you're going to be having a lot of photography, and you also want it to be very nice and matte. Yeah, way better than the other lighter one.
Yeah, no, that's like magic. That's amazing.
It's cool, right?
Wow.
Yeah, they're really fun.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Absolutely. Have a great time.
Ta-da, I think I'm ready. Rochester has been home to Winona State University for 100 years. Our esteemed guest, Dr. Gangeness, is joining us today to talk about its impact on students and the community for the next 100. Stay with us.
Our past, remembering what made us who we are today. Brought to you by the History Center of Olmsted County.
Martha and Jacob Dieter were early pioneers in Cascade Township, north of Rochester. In August 1862, Jacob enlisted in the Army, leaving his wife to care for their 4 children. Jacob was ordered south in October 1863. After several months, Jacob fought in the Battle of Bryce's Crossroads on June 10, 1864, and was captured and sent to Andersonville Prison. After his capture and death, Martha stopped receiving Jacob's Army salary and supported the family on her own during the harsh Minnesota winters. They survived thanks to the kindness of their neighbors. Ultimately, Martha was able to obtain her husband's pension from the government to help support the family. Martha eventually decided to move to Rochester, where she could find work and live there until she died in 1904.
Rochester's rapid growth is inspiring many organizations to dream big. Dr. Jeanine Gangeness, Chief Academic Officer and Chief Executive Officer for the Rochester campus, is here today. Welcome to our town, Dr. Gangeness.
It's great to be here, Nicole. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course. It's such an exciting time for Winona State. Is the downtown presence going to be replacing the RCTC location?
Thank you for asking me that. That is a common question I get almost every day. We are a campus that is pretty well hidden. Not a lot of people know about us, and we will not be replacing one with the other. We are growing. And so we have just under 1,000 undergraduate students here in Rochester and about 380 graduate students, so we needed the expanded space. So we will continue to be at RCTC. We will be downtown. We also have a classroom at Riverside Elementary and in Sumner Elementary in Austin, and also we started classes in Byron. So we are in a lot of places.
That's great. And is the expansion also going to include an expansion of courses and programs for students?
Yes, we've already begun some of the expansion. This year we are in our 2nd cohort of our para to elementary ed program, and so those are paraprofessionals or teachers' assistants that want to become teachers, so we're helping them move through the process and maintain their employment while they're coming back to school. So that's a very exciting program for us. We also launched a human resource management program and hired a faculty specifically for Rochester. So Dr. Hahn started this fall. And we also expanded our accounting faculty, so we have additional accounting faculty here. We have always had huge nursing programs and education programs, and our graduate programs are now very big in this community, and we're starting to look at our GIP and other education programs to see how we can expand those and eventually launch an education doctorate.
That's great. These programs you're expanding these programs, and it's also a really critical time for the community here in Rochester, and we're talking a lot about workforce development and growing the workforce, diversifying that workforce. How do you see that playing into what you're all doing and the expansion that's happening?
There's 2 programs that I would highlight that are really about diversification. One of them is a graduate program, a multicultural education graduate program, which Nicholas Wysocki has brought together and has launched. And that has been an exciting program to see how we can bring together groups like the Diversity Council and other groups in the community to give us information about what makes sense here in Rochester. Dr. Wysocki is a Rochester resident, so he provides a lot of great, knows what's going on in the community knowledge. So I think that's great. The other is the program I talked about before, which is the Para to Elementary Ed program, which is specifically about diversifying the workforce. Furthermore, I think that we're looking at not only what does it look like to do cultural programming, but how do you make sure that folks at a very basic level are working on connecting with every population that we have. We are the group that has folks that do nursing, education, social work, and computer science. They're all people that are really connected to the population. So we feel like we have a handle on that and would like to expand that into more workforce or in the business programming to make sure that we are appropriate and seeing our workforce grow in a way that we want it to.
And that move downtown is such a central location. Was there a particular vision behind that? How do you feel about it moving to downtown?
Boy, there's lots of reasons we moved downtown. It's a beautiful site. It's a happy coincidence that the building is turning 100 this year, as are we, and we feel like, wow, it was meant to be. The owner of the building happens to be a Winona State alum, and he's been delightful to work with. So that all those pieces seem to kind of come together all at the right time. The WSU Broadway location is directly across from Discovery Square, so we have a boardroom that views Discovery Square better than most, and it's in that downtown waterfront or riverfront district. And so our programming, it's kind of on the edge, but it also supports so many parts of Rochester, so it kind of fits who we are. We're the group that has been supporting Rochester and all of the different areas for a long time, and so we see this location as a good fit for us.
And the Discovery Square is part of the Destination Medical Center plan for the city. And so how do you see Winona State and this move fitting in with Destination Medical Center and other initiatives like Journey to Growth that are happening here in the community and the region?
Right, and we're pleased about the growth. I think one of the areas that we've noticed is people are asking us, is it really going to grow? And from last year when I started to this year, we have expanded our alumni base by 500 people in this county. So we've gone from 6,500 to 7,000 alums in Rochester and Olmsted County, which sort of is a stark example of growth. And so we are working closely with a number of populations. I serve on the Heart of the City Committee, and I think that the research coming out of that group has been incredible. It talks about how our community has a distinctly different workforce. We care for people. There's sort of that ripple of compassion that goes across all sectors. So you might be an accountant, but you also need to consider in this community, we serve a lot of people that happen to be coming here for health care. We also see that as coming together of many different countries and cultures, and how do you coalesce that into a much better caregiver or a teacher or a social worker. I think all of those things are key, and they come out of the research for Destination Medical Center. So I think that keeping an eye on that and making sure that we really serve has been really key for us.
And all that talk about the future, I think, is also important for us to think about the history. And so 100 years in, can you tell us a little bit about that history and also how some of the lessons learned from that history is moving you forward into the future?
Right. We'll maintain who we are. We are the group that really has built that infrastructure and human capacity for the community. And so we started out as a teacher's college. We started out in this community doing teacher education and in the small schools in 1917. As early as 1920, we began doing nursing education here. So it was a very early start for that, and we moved into doing many other areas depending on what the needs were in the community. So at some point, we actually started our computer science program because IBM was big at that time. We continue to engage with that company, but it's amazing how everyone needs computer science folks now. It permeates all different sectors. So I think as we continue to move forward, we're going to maintain a connection with our community and really make sure that what we're doing makes sense for Rochester and it makes sense to who we are, which is human capacity building.
That's so exciting. Thank you so much, Dr. Gangeness. Keep in touch by sending us your comments and story ideas to rochester@ksmq.org. And if you want to be part of Team KSMQ as we celebrate Minnesota Public Television Day at the Capitol in St. Paul on February 22nd, give us a shout on that as well. We'll get you all the details. Our deepest condolences go out to the family of former Rochester Mayor Chuck Canfield, who died on Tuesday. He served the community in many roles and was Rochester Mayor from 1995 to 2003. See you next week on Our Town, the show about Rochester.
You can access more information about KSMQ on Facebook and at ksmq.org.